Book 57, Companions of the Prophet. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Allah's Apostle said, "A time will come upon the people, when a group of people will wage a holy war, and it will be said, 'Is there amongst you anyone who has accompanied Allah's Apostle?' They will say, 'Yes.' And so victory will be bestowed on them. Then a time will come upon the people when a group of people will wage a holy war, and it will be said, 'Is there amongst you none who has accompanied the companions of Allah's Apostle?' They will say, 'Yes.' And so victory will be bestowed on them. Then a time will come upon the people when a group of people will wage a holy war, and it will be said, 'Is there amongst you anyone who has been in the company of the companions of Allah's Apostle?' They will say, 'Yes.' And victory will be bestowed on them. Narrated Imran bin Husayn, Allah's Apostle said, "The best of my followers are those living in my generation, that is my contemporaries. And then those who will follow the latter." Imran added, "I do not remember whether he mentioned 2 or 3 generations after his generation." Then the Prophet added, "There will come after you, people who will bear witness without being asked to do so, and will be treacherous and untrustworthy, and they will vow and never fulfill their vows, and fatness will appear among them." Narrated Abdullah, the Prophet said, "The best people are those living in my generation, and then those who will follow them, and then those who will follow the latter. Then there will come some people who will bear witness before taking oaths, and take oaths before bearing witness." Ibrahim, a sub-narrator said, "They used to beat us for witnesses and covenants when we were still children." Narrated Al-Bara, Abu Bakr bought a camel saddle from Azib for 13 dirhams. Abu Bakr said to Azib, "Tell Al-Bara to carry the saddle for me." Azib said, "No, unless you relate to me what happened to you and Allah's Apostle when you left Mecca while the pagans were in search of you." Abu Bakr said, "We left Mecca and we traveled continuously for that night and the following day till it was midday. I looked around, searching for shade to take as shelter, and suddenly I came across a rock, and found the little shade there. So I cleaned the place and spread a bed for the Prophet in the shade and said to him, 'Lie down, O Allah's Apostle.' So the Prophet lay down and I went out, looking around to see if there was any person pursuing us. Suddenly I saw a shepherd driving his sheep towards the rock, seeking what we had already sought from it. I asked him, 'To whom do you belong, O boy?' He said, 'I belong to a man from Quraysh.' He named the man and I recognized him. I asked him, 'Is there any milk with your sheep?' He said, 'Yes.' I said, 'Will you then milk some for us?' He said, 'Yes.' Then I asked him to tie the legs of one of the sheep and clean its udder, and then ordered him to clean his hands from dust. Then the shepherd cleaned his hands by striking his hands against one another. After doing so, he milked a small amount of milk. I used to keep for Allah's Apostle a leather water container, the mouth of which was covered with a piece of cloth. I poured water on the milk container till its lower part was cold. Then I took the milk to the Prophet whom I found awake. I said to him, 'Drink, O Allah's Apostle.' So he drank till I became pleased. Then I said, 'It is time for us to move, O Allah's Apostle.' He said, 'Yes.' So we set out while the people, that is Quraysh pagans, were searching for us, but none found us except Zurayq bin Malik bin Jusham who was riding his horse. I said, 'These are our pursuers who have found us, O Allah's Apostle.' He said, 'Do not grieve, for Allah is with us.' Narrated Abu Bakr, I said to the Prophet while I was in the cave, 'If any of them should look under his feet, he would see us.' He said, 'O Abu Bakr, what do you think of 2 persons, the third of whom is Allah?' Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, Allah's Apostle addressed the people saying, 'Allah has given option to a slave to choose this world or what is with him. The slave has chosen what is with Allah.' Abu Bakr wept, and we were astonished at his weeping caused by what the Prophet mentioned as to a slave of Allah, who had been offered the choice. We learned later on, that Allah's Apostle himself was the person who was given the choice, and that Abu Bakr knew best of all of us. Allah's Apostle added, 'The person who has favored me most of all both with his company and wealth, is Abu Bakr. If I were to take a Khalil other than my Lord, I would have taken Abu Bakr as such, but, what relates us, is the Islamic brotherhood and friendliness. All the gates of the mosque should be closed except the gate of Abu Bakr. Narrated Ibn Umar, we used to compare the people as to who was better during the lifetime of Allah's Apostle. We used to regard Abu Bakr as the best, then Umar, and then Uthman. Narrated Ibn Abbas, the Prophet said, if I were to take a Khalil, I would have taken Abu Bakr, but he is my brother and my companion, in Islam. Narrated Ayub, the Prophet said, if I were to take a Khalil, I would have taken him, that is Abu Bakr, as a Khalil, but the Islamic brotherhood is better. Narrated Abdullah bin Abi Malaika, the people of Kufa sent a letter to Ibn Az-Zubair, asking about the inheritance of paternal grandfather. He replied that the right of the inheritance of paternal grandfather is the same as that of father if the father is dead, and added, Allah's Apostle said, if I were to take a Khalil from this nation, I would have taken him, that is Abu Bakr. Narrated Jubair bin Mut'im, a woman came to the Prophet who ordered her to return to him again. She said, what if I came and did not find you? As if she wanted to say, if I found you dead? The Prophet said, if you should not find me, go to Abu Bakr. Narrated Amma, I saw Allah's Apostle and there was none with him but 5 slaves, 2 women and Abu Bakr, that is those were the only converts to Islam then. Narrated Abu ad-Darda, while I was sitting with the Prophet, Abu Bakr came, lifting up one corner of H's garment uncovering H's knee. The Prophet said, your companion has had a quarrel. Abu Bakr greeted the Prophet, and said, O Allah's Apostle, there was something, that is quarrel, between me and the son of Al-Khattab. I talked to him harshly and then regretted that, and requested him to forgive me, but he refused. This is why I have come to you. The Prophet said thrice, O Abu Bakr, may Allah forgive you. In the meanwhile, Umar regretted his refusal of Abu Bakr's excuse, and went to Abu Bakr's house and asked if Abu Bakr was there. They replied in the negative. So he came to the Prophet and greeted him, but signs of displeasure appeared on the face of the Prophet till Abu Bakr pitied Umar, so he knelt and said twice, O Allah's Apostle, by Allah, I was more unjust to him than he to me. The Prophet said, Allah sent me, as a prophet, to you, people, but you said, to me, you are telling a lie, while Abu Bakr said, he has said the truth, and consoled me with himself and his money. He then said twice, won't you then give up harming my companion? After that nobody harmed Abu Bakr. Narrated Amr bin al-As, the Prophet deputed me to read the army of Dat as-Salazul. I came to him and said, who is the most beloved person to you? He said, Aishah. I asked, among the men? He said, her father. I said, who then? He said, then Umar bin al-Khattab. He then named other men. Narrated Abu Hurairah, I heard Allah's Apostle saying, while a shepherd was amongst his sheep, a wolf attacked them and took away one sheep. When the shepherd chased the wolf turned towards him and said, who will be its guard on the day of wild animals when nobody except I will be its shepherd? And while a man was driving a cow with a load on it, it turned towards him and spoke to him saying, I have not been created for this purpose, but for plowing. The people said, glorified be Allah. The Prophet said, but I believe in it and so does Abu Bakr and Umar. Narrated Abu Hurairah, I heard Allah's Apostle saying, while I was sleeping, I saw myself standing at a well, on it there was a bucket. I drew water from the well as much as Allah wished. Then Ibn Abi Quhafa, that is Abu Bakr, took the bucket from me and brought out 1 or 2 buckets of water, and there was weakness in his drawing the water. May Allah forgive his weakness for him. Then the bucket turned into a very big one and Ibn al-Khattab took it over, and I had never seen such a mighty person amongst the people as him in performing such hard work, till the people drank to their satisfaction and watered their camels that knelt down there. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar, that Allah's Apostle said, Allah will not look on the day of judgment at him who drags his robe behind him, out of pride. Abu Bakr said, one side of my robe slacks down unless I get very cautious about it. Allah's Apostle said, but you do not do that with a pride. Narrated Abu Hurairah, I heard Allah's Apostle saying, anybody who spends a pair of something in Allah's cause will be called from all the gates of paradise, O Allah's slave. This is good. He who is amongst those who pray will be called from the gate of the prayer, in paradise, and he who is from the people of jihad will be called from the gate of jihad, and he who is from those who give in charity, that is zakat, will be called from the gate of charity, and he who is amongst those who observe fast will be called from the gate of fasting, the gate of Rayyan. Abu Bakr said, he who is called from all those gates will need nothing. He added, will anyone be called from all those gates, O Allah's Apostle? He said, yes, and I hope you will be among those, O Abu Bakr. Narrated Aishah, the wife of the Prophet, Allah's Apostle died while Abu Bakr was at a place called as Sunnah, al-Aliyah. Ammar stood up and said, by Allah, Allah's Apostle is not dead. Ammar, later on, said, by Allah, nothing occurred to my mind except that. He said, verily, Allah will resurrect him and he will cut the hands and legs of some men. Then Abu Bakr came and uncovered the face of Allah's Apostle, kissed him and said, let my mother and father be sacrificed for you, O Allah's Apostle, you are good in life and in death. By Allah in whose hands my life is, Allah will never make you taste death twice. Then he went out and said, O oath taker, don't be hasty. When Abu Bakr spoke, Ammar sat down. Abu Bakr raised and glorified Allah and said, no doubt. Whoever worshipped Muhammad, then Muhammad is dead, but whoever worshipped Allah, then Allah is alive and shall never die. Then he recited Allah's statement: O Muhammad, verily you will die, and they also will die. 39.30. He also recited: Muhammad is no more than an apostle, and indeed many apostles have passed away before him. If he dies or is killed, will you then turn back on your heels? And he who turns back on his heels, not the least harm will he do to Allah, and Allah will give reward to those who are grateful. 3.144 The people wept loudly, and the Ansar were assembled with Sa'd bin Ubadah in the shed of Bani Sa'dah. They said, to the emigrants, there should be one emir from us and one from you. Then Abu Bakr, Ammar bin al-Khattab and Abu Ubaidah bin al-Jarrah went to them. Ammar wanted to speak but Abu Bakr stopped him. Ammar later on used to say, by Allah, I intended only to say something that appealed to me and I was afraid that Abu Bakr would not speak so well. Then Abu Bakr spoke and his speech was very eloquent. He said in his statement, we are the rulers and you, Ansars, are the ministers, that is advisors. Hubab bin al-Mundar said, no, by Allah we won't accept this. But there must be a ruler from us and a ruler from you. Abu Bakr said, no, we will be the rulers and you will be the ministers, for they, that is Quraysh, are the best family amongst the Arabs and of best origin. So you should elect either Ammar or Abu Ubaidah bin al-Jarrah as your ruler. Ammar said, to Abu Bakr, no, but we elect you, for you are our chief and the best amongst us and the most beloved of all of us to Allah's Apostle. So Ammar took Abu Bakr's hand and gave the pledge of allegiance, and the people too gave the pledge of allegiance to Abu Bakr. Someone said, you have killed Sa'd bin Ubadah. Ammar said, Allah has killed him. Aishah said, in another narration, when the Prophet was on his deathbed, he looked up and said thrice, amongst the highest companion, see Quran 4.69, Aishah said, Allah benefited the people by their two speeches. Ammar frightened the people, some of whom were hypocrites whom Allah caused to abandon Islam because of Ammar's speech. Then Abu Bakr led the people to true guidance and acquainted them with the right path they were to follow, so that they went out reciting: Muhammad is no more than an apostle, and indeed many apostles have passed away before him. 3.144 Narrated Muhammad bin al-Hanafiyyah, I asked my father, Ali bin Abi Talib, who are the best people after Allah's Apostle? He said, Abu Bakr. I asked, who then? He said, then Ammar. I was afraid he would say Uthman, so I said, then you? He said, I am only an ordinary person. Narrated Aishah, we went out with Allah's Apostle on one of his journeys till we reached Al-Bayda or Datalsh, where my necklace got broken, and lost. Allah's Apostle stopped to search for it and the people too stopped with him. There was no water at that place and they had no water with them. So they went to Abu Bakr and said, "Don't you see what Aishah has done? She has made Allah's apostle and the people stop where there is no water and they have no water with them." Abu Bakr came while Allah's apostle was sleeping with his head on my thigh and said, "You detained Allah's apostle and the people where there is no water and they have no water." He then admonished me and said what Allah wished and pinched me at my flanks with his hands, but I did not move because the head of Allah's apostle was on my thigh. Allah's apostle kept on sleeping till B got up in the morning and found no water. Then Allah revealed the divine verse of Tayammum, and the people performed Tayammum. Uzayd bin al-Hudayr said, "O family of Abu Bakr, this is not the first blessings of yours. We urged the camel on which I was sitting to get up from its place and the necklace was found under it." Narrated Abu said, "The Prophet said, 'Do not abuse my companions, for if any one of you spent gold equal to Uhud, in Allah's cause, it would not be equal to a mud or even a half mud spent by one of them." Narrated Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, "I performed ablution in my house and then went out and said, 'Today I shall stick to Allah's apostle and stay with him all this day of mine, in his service.' I went to the mosque and asked about the Prophet. They said, he had gone in this direction. So I followed his way, asking about him till he entered a place called Bararis. I sat at its gate that was made of date palm leaves till the Prophet finished answering the call of nature and performed ablution. Then I went up to him to see him sitting at the well of Aras at the middle of its edge with his legs uncovered, hanging in the well. I greeted him and went back and sat at the gate. I said, 'Today I will be the gatekeeper of the Prophet.' Abu Bakr came and pushed the gate. I asked, 'Who is it?' He said, 'Abu Bakr.' I told him to wait, went in and said, 'O Allah's apostle.' Abu Bakr asks for permission to enter. He said, 'Admit him and give him the glad tidings that he will be in paradise.' So I went out and said to Abu Bakr, 'Come in, and Allah's apostle gives you the glad tidings that you will be in paradise.' Abu Bakr entered and sat on the right side of Allah's apostle on the built edge of the well and hung his legs in the well as the Prophet did and uncovered his legs. I then returned and sat at the gate. I had left my brother performing ablution and he intended to follow me. So I said to myself, 'If Allah wants good for so-and-so, that is my brother, he will bring him here.' Suddenly somebody moved the door. I asked, 'Who is it?' He said, 'Umar bin al-Khattab.' I asked him to wait, went to Allah's apostle, greeted him and said, 'Umar bin al-Khattab asks the permission to enter.' He said, 'Admit him, and give him the glad tidings that he will be in paradise.' I went to Umar and said, 'Come in, and Allah's apostle gives you the glad tidings that you will be in paradise.' So he entered and sat beside Allah's apostle on the built edge of the well on the left side and hung his legs in the well. I returned and sat at the gate, and said to myself, 'If Allah wants good for so-and-so, he will bring him here.' Somebody came and moved the door. I asked, 'Who is it?' He replied, 'Uthman bin Affan.' I asked him to wait and went to the Prophet and informed him. He said, 'Admit him, and give him the glad tidings of entering paradise.' I asked him to wait and went to the Prophet and informed him. He said, 'Adult him, and give him the glad tidings of entering paradise after a calamity that will befall him.' So I went up to him and said to him, 'Come in, Allah's apostle gives you the glad tidings of entering paradise after a calamity that will befall you.' Uthman then came in and found that the built edge of the well was occupied, so he sat opposite to the Prophet on the other side. Said bin al-Musayyab said, I interpret this narration in terms of their graves. Narrated Anas bin Malik, the Prophet once climbed the mountain of Uhud with Abu Bakr, Umar and Uthman. The mountain shook with them. The Prophet said to the mountain, Be firm, O Uhud. For on you there are no more than a prophet, a Siddiq and 2 martyrs. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar, Allah's apostle said, While, in a dream, I was standing by a well, drawing water from it. Abu Bakr and Umar came to me. Abu Bakr took the bucket from me, and drew 1 or 2 buckets of water, and there was some weakness. Narrated Ibn Abbas, While I was standing amongst the people who were invoking Allah for Umar bin al-Khattab, who was lying, dead, on his bed, a man behind me rested his elbows on my shoulder and said, "O Umar, may Allah bestow His mercy on you. I always hope that Allah will keep you with your two companions, for I often heard Allah's apostle saying, I, Abu Bakr and Umar were, somewhere. I, Abu Bakr and Umar did, something. I, Abu Bakr and Umar set out. So I hoped that Allah will keep you with both of them." I turned back to see that the speaker was Ali bin Abi Talib. Narrated Awar bin Az-Zubair, I asked Abdullah bin Amr, what was the worst thing the pagans did to Allah's apostle? He said, I saw Uqba bin Abi Mu'ayt coming to the Prophet while he was praying. Uqba put his sheet round the Prophet's neck and squeezed it very severely. Abu Bakr came and pulled Uqba away from the Prophet and said, "Do you intend to kill a man just because he says, 'My Lord is Allah, and he has brought forth to you the evident signs from your Lord?'" Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah, the Prophet said, I saw myself, in a dream, entering paradise, and behold, I saw Arumaiza, Abu Talha's wife. I heard footsteps. I asked, "Who is it?" Somebody said, "It is Bilal." Then I saw a palace and a lady sitting in its courtyard. I asked, "For whom is this palace?" Somebody replied, "It is for Umar." I intended to enter it and see it, but I thought of Umar's Gira, and gave up the attempt. Umar said, "Let my parents be sacrificed for you, O Allah's apostle. How dare I think of my Gira, self-respect, being offended by you?" Narrated Abu Hurairah, while we were with Allah's apostle, he said, "While I was sleeping, I saw myself in paradise, and suddenly I saw a woman performing ablution beside a palace. I asked, 'For whom is this palace?' They replied, 'It is for Umar.' Then I remembered Umar's Gira, self-respect, and went away quickly. Umar wept and said, "O Allah's apostle, how dare I think of my Gira, self-respect, being offended by you?" Narrated Hamza's father, Allah's apostle said, "While I was sleeping, I saw myself drinking, that is milk, and I was so contented that I saw the milk flowing through my nails. Then I gave the milk to Umar. They, that is the companions of the Prophet, asked, 'What do you interpret it?' He said, 'Knowledge.'" Narrated Abdullah bin Umar, the Prophet said, "In a dream I saw myself drawing water from a well with a bucket. Abu Bakr came and drew a bucket or two weakly. May Allah forgive him. Then Umar bin al-Khattab came and the bucket turned into a very large one in his hands. I had never seen such a mighty person as he in doing such hard work till all the people drank to their satisfaction and watered their camels that knelt down there." Narrated Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas, Umar bin al-Khattab asked the permission of Allah's apostle to see him while some Qurayshi men were sitting with him, talking to him and asking him for more expenses, raising their voices above the voice of Allah's apostle. When Umar asked for the permission to enter, the women quickly put on their veils. Allah's apostle allowed him to enter and Umar came in while Allah's apostle was smiling. Umar said, "O Allah's apostle, may Allah always keep you smiling." The Prophet said, "These women who have been here, roused my wonder, for as soon as they heard your voice, they quickly put on their veils." Umar said, "O Allah's apostle, you have more right to be feared by them than I." Then Umar addressed the women saying, "O enemies of yourselves, you fear me more than you do Allah's apostle?" They said, "Yes, for you are harsher and sterner than Allah's apostle." Then Allah's apostle said, "O Ibn al-Khattab, by him in whose hands my life is, never does Satan find you going on a way, but he takes another way other than yours." Narrated Abdullah, "We have been powerful since Umar embraced Islam." Narrated Ibn Abbas, when the dead body of Umar was put on his deathbed, the people gathered around him and invoked Allah, and prayed for him before the body was taken away, and I was amongst them. Suddenly I felt somebody taking hold of my shoulder and found out that he was Ali bin Abi Talib. Ali invoked Allah's mercy for Umar and said, "O Umar, you have not left behind you a person whose deeds I like to imitate and meet Allah with more than I like your deeds. By Allah, I always thought that Allah would keep you with your two companions, for very often I used to hear the Prophet saying, I, Abu Bakr and Umar went somewhere, I, Abu Bakr and Umar entered somewhere, and I, Abu Bakr and Umar went out. Narrated Anas bin Malik, the Prophet ascended the mountain of Uhud and he was accompanied by Abu Bakr, Umar and Uthman. The mountain shook beneath them. The Prophet hit it with his foot and said, O Uhud! Be firm, for on you there is none but a prophet, a Siddiq and a martyr, that is and 2 martyrs. Narrated Islam, Ibn Umar asked me about some matters concerning Umar. He said, since Allah's apostle died, I have never seen anybody more serious, hard-working and generous than Umar bin al-Khattab, till the end of his life. Narrated Anas, a man asked the Prophet about the hour, that is Day of Judgment, saying, when will the hour be? The Prophet said, what have you prepared for it? The man said, nothing, except that I love Allah and His Apostle. The Prophet said, you will be with those whom you love. We had never been so glad as we were on hearing that saying of the Prophet, that is, you will be with those whom you love. Therefore, I love the Prophet, Abu Bakr and Umar, and I hope that I will be with them because of my love for them though my deeds are not similar to theirs. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Apostle said, among the nations before you there used to be people who were inspired, though they were not prophets. And if there is any of such a persons amongst my followers, it is Umar. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said, among the nation of Bani Israel who lived before you, there were men who used to be inspired with guidance through they were not prophets, and if there is any of such persons amongst my followers, it is Umar. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Apostle said, whilst a shepherd was amongst his sheep, a wolf attacked them and took away a sheep. The shepherd chased it and got that sheep freed from the wolf. The wolf turned towards the shepherd and said, who will guard the sheep on the day of wild animals when it will have no shepherd except myself? The people said, glorified be Allah. The Prophet said, but I believe in it and so do Abu Bakr and Umar, although Abu Bakr and Umar were not present there, at the place of the event. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, I heard Allah's Apostle saying, while I was sleeping, the people were presented to me, in a dream. They were wearing shirts, some of which were merely covering their chests, and some were a bit longer. Umar was presented before me and his shirt was so long that he was dragging it. They asked, how have you interpreted it, O Allah's Apostle? He said, religion. Narrated Al-Miswar bin Makramah, when Umar was stabbed, he showed signs of agony. Ibn Abbas, as if intending to encourage Umar, said to him, O chief of the believers, never mind what has happened to you, for you have been in the company of Allah's Apostle and you kept good relations with him and you parted with him while he was pleased with you. Then you were in the company of Abu Bakr and kept good relations with him and you parted with him, that is he died, while he was pleased with you. Then you were in the company of the Muslims, and you kept good relations with them, and if you leave them, you will leave them while they are pleased with you. Umar said, to Ibn Abbas, as for what you have said about the company of Allah's Apostle and his being pleased with me, it is a favor Allah did to me, and as for what you have said about the company of Abu Bakr and his being pleased with me, it is a favor Allah did to me, and concerning my impatience which you see, is because of you and your companions. By Allah, if, at all, I had gold equal to the earth, I would have ransomed myself with it from the punishment of Allah before I meet him. Narrated Abu Musa, while I was with the Prophet in one of the gardens of Medina, a man came and asked me to open the gate. The Prophet said to me, open the gate for him and give him the glad tidings that he will enter paradise. I opened the gate for him, and behold, it was Abu Bakr. I informed him of the glad tidings the Prophet had said, and he praised Allah. Then another man came and asked me to open the gate. The Prophet said to me, open the gate, and give him the glad tidings of entering paradise. I opened the gate for him, and behold, it was Umar. I informed him of what the Prophet had said, and he praised Allah. Then another man came and asked me to open the gate. The Prophet said to me, open the gate for him and inform him of the glad tidings of entering paradise with the calamity which will befall him. Behold, it was Uthman. I informed him of what Allah's apostle had said. He praised Allah and said, I seek Allah's aid. Narrated Abdullah bin Hisham, we were with the Prophet while he was holding Umar bin al-Khattab by the hand. Narrated Abu Musa, the Prophet entered a garden and ordered me to guard its gate. A man came and asked permission to enter. The Prophet said, admit him and give him the glad tidings of entering paradise. Behold, it was Abu Bakr. Another man came and asked the permission to enter. The Prophet said, admit him and give him the glad tidings of entering paradise. Behold, it was Umar. Then another man came, asking the permission to enter. The Prophet kept silent for a short while and then said, admit him and give him the glad tidings of entering paradise with the calamity which will befall him. Behold, it was Uthman bin Affan. Isma, in another narration, said that the Prophet was sitting in a place where there was water, and he was uncovering both his knees or his knee, and when Uthman entered, he covered them, or it. Narrated Ubaydullah bin Adi bin al-Qiyar, al-Miswar bin Makramah and Abdurrahman bin al-Aswad bin Abi Yaghouth said, to me, what forbids you to talk to Uthman about his brother al-Walid, because people have talked much about him. So I went to Uthman, and when he went out for prayer I said to him, I have something to say to you and it is a piece of advice for you. Uthman said, O man, from you. Umar said, I see that he said, I seek refuge with Allah from you, so I left him and went to them. Then the messenger of Uthman came and I went to him, that is Uthman. Uthman asked, what is your advice? I replied, Allah sent Muhammad with the truth, and revealed the divine book, that is Quran, to him, and you were amongst those who followed Allah and his apostle, and you participated in the 2 migrations, to Ethiopia and to Medina, and enjoyed the company of Allah's apostle and saw his way. No doubt, the people are talking much about al-Walid. Uthman said, did you receive your knowledge directly from Allah's apostle? I said, no, but his knowledge did reach me, and it reached, even, to a virgin in her seclusion. Uthman said, and then Allah sent Muhammad with the truth, and I was amongst those who followed Allah and his apostle, and I believed in whatever he, that is the Prophet, was sent with, and participated in 2 migrations, as you have said, and I enjoyed the company of Allah's apostle and gave the pledge of allegiance him. By Allah, I never disobeyed him, nor did I cheat him till Allah took him unto him. Then I treated Abu Bakr and then Umar similarly, and then I was made Caliph. So, don't I have rights similar to theirs? I said, yes. He said, then what are these talks reaching me from you people? Now, concerning what you mentioned about the question of al-Walid, Allah willing, I shall deal with him according to what is right. Then he called Ali and ordered him to flog him, and Ali flogged him, that is al-Walid, 80 lashes. Narrated Anas, Allah's apostle ascended their mountain of Uad with Abu Bakr and Uthman, and it shook. Allah's apostle said, be calm, O Uad. I think he stroked it with his foot and added, there is none on you but a prophet, a Siddiq and 2 martyrs. The 2 martyrs were Umar and Uthman. See Hadith number 24. Narrated Ibn Umar, during the lifetime of the Prophet we considered Abu Bakr as peerless, and then Umar and then Uthman, coming next to him in superiority, and then we used not to differentiate between the companions of the Prophet. Narrated Uthman, the son of Mu'ib, an Egyptian who came and performed the Hajj to the Kaaba, saw some people sitting. He inquired, who are these people? Somebody said, they are the tribe of Quraysh. He said, who is the old man sitting amongst them? The people replied, he is Abdullah bin Umar. He said, O Ibn Umar, I want to ask you about something, please tell me about it. Do you know that Uthman fled away on the day of the battle of Uad? Ibn Umar said, yes. There, Egyptian man said, do you know that Uthman was absent on the day of the battle of Badr and did not join it? Ibn Umar said, yes. The man said, do you know that he failed to attend the Ridwan pledge and did not witness it, that is Hudaybiyah pledge of allegiance? Ibn Umar said, yes. The man said, Allahu Akbar. Ibn Umar said, let me explain to you all these 3 things. As for his flight on the day of Uad, I testify that Allah has excused him and forgiven him, And as for his absence from the Battle of Badr, it was due to the fact that the daughter of Allah's apostle was his wife and she was sick then. Allah's apostle said to him, "You will receive the same reward and share of the booty as anyone of those who participated in the Battle of Badr, if you stay with her." As for his absence from the Ridwan Pledge of Allegiance, had there been any person in Mecca more respectable than Uthman, to be sent as a representative, Allah's apostle would have sent him instead of him. No doubt, Allah's apostle had sent him, and the incident of the Ridwan Pledge of Allegiance happened after Uthman had gone to Mecca. Allah's apostle held out his right hand saying, "This is Uthman's hand." He stroked his other hand with it saying, "This Pledge of Allegiance is on the behalf of Uthman." Then Ibn Ammar said to the man, "Bear these excuses in mind with you." Narrated as the Prophet ascended the mountain of Uhud and Abu Bakr, Ammar and Uthman were accompanying him. The mountain gave a shake, that is trembled underneath them. The Prophet said, "O Uhud, be calm." I think that the Prophet hit it with his foot, adding, "For upon you there are none but a Prophet, a Siddiq and 2 martyrs." Narrated Amr bin Maimun, I saw Ammar bin al-Khattab a few days before he was stabbed in Medina. He was standing with Hudayfa bin al-Yaman and Uthman bin Hunayf, to whom he said, "What have you done? Do you think that you have imposed more taxation on the land of Aswad, that is Iraq, than it can bear?" They replied, "We have imposed on it what it can bear because of its great yield." Ammar again said, "Check whether you have imposed on the land what it cannot bear." They said, "No, we haven't." Ammar added, "If Allah should keep me alive, I will let the widows of Iraq need no men to support them after me." But only 4 days had elapsed when he was stabbed to death. The day he was stabbed, I was standing and there was nobody between me and him, that is Ammar, except Abdullah bin Abbas. Whenever Ammar passed between the 2 rows, he would say, "Stand in straight lines." When he saw no defect in the rows, he would go forward and start the prayer with takbir. He would recite Surat Yusuf or An-Nahl or the like in the first rak'ah so that the people may have the time to join the prayer. As soon as he said takbir, I heard him saying, "The dog has killed or eaten me." At the time he, that is the murderer, stabbed him. A non-Arab infidel proceeded on carrying a double-edged knife and stabbing all the persons he passed by on the right and left, till he stabbed 13 persons, out of whom 7 died. When one of the Muslims saw that, he threw a cloak on him. Realizing that he had been captured, the non-Arab infidel killed himself. Ammar held the hand of Abdurrahman bin Auf and let him lead the prayer. Those who were standing by the side of Ammar saw what I saw, but the people who were in the other parts of the mosque did not see anything, but they lost the voice of Ammar and they were saying, "Subhanallah, Subhanallah. That is glorified be Allah." Abdurrahman bin Auf led the people a short prayer. When they finished the prayer, Ammar said, "O Ibn Abbas, find out who attacked me." Ibn Abbas kept on looking here and there for a short time and came to say, "The slave of Al-Mughira." On that Ammar said, "The craftsman." Ibn Abbas said, "Yes." Ammar said, "May Allah curse him. I did not treat him unjustly. All the praises are for Allah who has not caused me to die at the hand of a man who claims himself to be a Muslim. No doubt, you and your father, Abbas, used to love to have more non-Arab infidels in Medina. Al-Abbas had the greatest number of slaves." Ibn Abbas said to Ammar, "If you wish, we will do." He meant, "If you wish we will kill them." Ammar said, "You are mistaken, for you can't kill them, after they have spoken your language, prayed towards your Qibla, and performed Hajj like yours." Then Ammar was carried to his house, and we went along with him, and the people were as if they had never suffered a calamity before. Some said, "Do not worry, he will be all right soon." Some said, "We are afraid that he will die." Then an infusion of dates was brought to him and he drank it, but it came out of the wound of his belly. Then milk was brought to him and he drank it, and it also came out of his belly. The people realized that he would die. We went to him, and the people came, praising him. A young man came saying, "O chief of the believers, Receive the glad tidings from Allah to you due to your company with Allah's apostle and your superiority in Islam which you know. Then you became the ruler, that is Caliph, and you ruled with justice and finally you have been martyred. Ammar said, I wish that all these privileges will counterbalance my shortcomings, so that I will neither lose nor gain anything. When the young man turned back to leave, his clothes seemed to be touching the ground. Ammar said, Call the young man back to me. When he came back, Ammar said, O son of my brother, lift your clothes, for this will keep your clothes clean and save you from the punishment of your Lord. Ammar further said, O Abdullah bin Ammar, see how much I am in debt to others. When the debt was checked, it amounted to approximately 86,000. Ammar said, If the property of Ammar's family covers the debt, then pay the debt thereof, otherwise request it from Bani Adi bin Kab, and if that too is not sufficient, ask for it from Quraysh tribe, and do not ask for it from anyone else, and pay this debt on my behalf. Ammar then said to Abdullah, Go to Aishah, the mother of the believers, and say, Ammar is paying his salutation to you. But don't say, the chief of the believers, because today I am not the chief of the believers. And say, Ammar bin al-Khattab asks the permission to be buried with his two companions, that is the Prophet, and Abu Bakr. Abdullah greeted Aishah and asked for the permission for entering, and then entered to her and found her sitting and weeping. He said to her, Ammar bin al-Khattab is paying his salutations to you, and asks the permission to be buried with his two companions. She said, I had the idea of having this place for myself, but today I prefer Ammar to myself. When he returned it was said, to Ammar, Abdullah bin Ammar has come. Ammar said, Make me sit up. Somebody supported him against his body and Ammar asked, Abdullah, what news do you have? He said, O chief of the believers, it is as you wish. She has given the permission. Ammar said, Praise be to Allah, there was nothing more important to me than this. So when I die, take me, and greet Aishah and say, Ammar bin al-Khattab asks the permission to be buried with the Prophet, and if she gives the permission, bury me there, and if she refuses, then take me to the graveyard of the Muslims. Then Hafsa, the mother of the believers, came with many other women walking with her. When we saw her, we went away. She went in to Ammar, and wept there for some time. When the men asked for permission to enter, she went into another place, and we heard her weeping inside. The people said to Ammar, O chief of the believers, appoint a successor. Ammar said, I do not find anyone more suitable for the job than the following persons or group whom Allah's apostle had been pleased with before he died. Then Ammar mentioned Ali, Uthman, Az-Zubair, Talha, Sa'd and Abdurrahman bin Auf, and said, Abdullah bin Ammar will be a witness to you, but he will have no share in the rule. His being a witness will compensate him for not sharing the right of ruling. If Sa'd becomes the ruler, it will be all right, otherwise, whoever becomes the ruler should seek his help, as I have not dismissed him because of disability or dishonesty. Ammar added, I recommend that my successor takes care of the early emigrants, to know their rights and protect their honor and sacred things. I also recommend that he be kind to the Ansar who had lived in Medina before the emigrants and belief had entered their hearts before them. I recommend that the ruler should accept the good of the righteous among them and excuse their wrongdoers, and I recommend that he should do good to all the people of the towns, Al-Ansar, as they are the protectors of Islam and the source of wealth and the source of annoyance to the enemy. I also recommend that nothing be taken from them except from their surplus with their consent. I also recommend that he do good to the Arab Bedouin, as they are the origin of the Arabs and the material of Islam. He should take from what is inferior amongst their properties and distribute that to the poor amongst them. I also recommend him concerning Allah's and his apostles' protectees, that is dhimmis, to fulfill their contracts and to fight for them and not to overburden them with what is beyond their ability. So when Ammar expired, we carried him out and set out walking. Abdullah bin Ammar greeted Aishah, and said, Ammar bin al-Khattab asks for the permission. Aishah said, Bring him in. He was brought in and buried beside his two companions. When he was buried, The group, recommended by Umar, held a meeting. Then Abdurrahman said, "Reduce the candidates for rulership to 3 of you." As Zubair said, "I give up my right to Ali." Talha said, "I give up my right to Uthman." Sa'd, "I give up my right to Abdurrahman bin Auf." Abdurrahman then said, to Uthman and Ali, "Now which of you is willing to give up his right of candidacy so that he may choose the better of the remaining 2, bearing in mind that Allah and Islam will be his witnesses?" So both the sheikhs, that is Uthman and Ali, kept silent. Abdurrahman said, "Will you both leave this matter to me, and I take Allah as my witness that I will not choose but the better of you?" They said, "Yes." So Abdurrahman took the hand of one of them, that is Ali, and said, "You are related to Allah's apostle and one of the earliest Muslims as you know well. So I ask you by Allah to promise that if I select you as a ruler you will do justice, and if I select Uthman as a ruler you will listen to him and obey him." Then he took the other, that is Uthman, aside and said the same to him. When Abdurrahman secured their agreement to this covenant, he said, "O Uthman, raise your hand." So he, that is Abdurrahman, gave him, that is Uthman, the solemn pledge, and then Ali gave him the pledge of allegiance and then all their Medina people gave him the pledge of allegiance. Narrated Sahl bin Sa'd, Allah's apostle said, "Tomorrow I will give the flag to a man with whose leadership Allah will grant the Muslim victory." So the people kept on thinking the whole night as to who would be given the flag. The next morning the people went to Allah's apostle and every one of them hoped that he would be given the flag. The Prophet said, "Where is Ali bin Abi Talib?" The people replied, "He is suffering from eye trouble, O Allah's apostle." He said, "Send for him and bring him to me." So when Ali came, the Prophet spat in his eyes and invoked good on him, and he became all right as if he had no ailment. The Prophet then gave him the flag. Ali said, "O Allah's apostle, shall I fight them, that is enemy, till they become like us?" The Prophet said, "Proceed to them steadily till you approach near to them and then invite them to Islam and inform them of their duties towards Allah which Islam prescribes for them, for by Allah, if one man is guided on the right path, that is converted to Islam, through you, it would be better for you than a great number of red camels." Narrated Salama, Ali happened to stay behind the Prophet and did not join him during the battle of Khaybar for he was having eye trouble. Then he said, "How could I remain behind Allah's apostle?" So Ali set out following the Prophet, when it was the eve of the day in the morning of which Allah helped the Muslims to conquer it. Allah's apostle said, "I will give the flag to a man, or tomorrow a man whom Allah and his apostle love will take the flag," or said, "A man who loves Allah and his apostle, and Allah will grant victory under his leadership." Suddenly came Ali whom we did not expect. The people said, "This is Ali." Allah's apostle gave him the flag and Allah granted victory under his leadership. Narrated Abu Hazim, a man came to Sahl bin Sa'd and said, "This is so-and-so, meaning the governor of Medina, he is calling Ali bad names near the pulpit." Sahl asked, "What is he saying?" He, that is the man, replied, "He calls him, that is Ali, Abu Turab." Sahl laughed and said, "By Allah, none but the Prophet called him by this name and no name was dearer to Ali than this." So I asked Sahl to tell me more, saying, "O Abu Abbas, how was this name given to Ali?" Sahl said, "Ali went to Fatima and then came out and slept in the mosque. The Prophet asked Fatima, 'Where is your cousin?' She said, 'In the mosque.' The Prophet went to him and found that his, that is Ali's, covering sheet had slipped off his back and dust had soiled his back. The Prophet started wiping the dust off his back and said twice, 'Get up, O Abu Turab,' that is O man with the dust." Narrated Sa'd bin Ubaidah, a man came to Ibn Umar and asked about Uthman and Ibn Umar mentioned his good deeds and said to the questioner, "Perhaps these facts annoy you?" The other said, "Yes." Ibn Umar said, "May Allah stick your nose in the dust, that is degrade you." Then the man asked him about Ali. Ibn Umar mentioned his good deeds and said, "It is all true, and that is his house in the midst of the houses of the Prophet. Perhaps these facts have hurt you?" The questioner said, "Yes." Ibn Umar said, May Allah stick your nose in the dust, that is degrade you or make you do things which you hate. Go away and do whatever you can against me. Narrated Ali. Fatima complained of the suffering caused to her by the hand mill. Some captives were brought to the Prophet. She came to him but did not find him at home. Aishah was present there, to whom she told of her desire for a servant. When the Prophet came, Aishah informed him about Fatima's visit. Ali added, so the Prophet came to us. While we had gone to our bed, I wanted to get up, but the Prophet said, remain at your place. Then he sat down between us till I found the coolness of his feet on my chest. Then he said, shall I teach you a thing which is better than what you have asked me? When you go to bed, say, Allahu Akbar 34 times, and Subhanallah 33 times, and Alhamdulillah 33 times, for that is better for you both than a servant. Narrated Ubaidah. Ali said, to the people of Iraq, judge as you used to judge, for I hate differences, and I do my best, till the people unite as one group, or I die as my companions have died. And narrated Sad that the Prophet said to Ali, will you not be pleased from this, that you are to me like Aaron was to Moses? Narrated Abu Hurairah. The people used to say, Abu Hurairah narrates too many narrations. In fact, I used to keep close to Allah's apostle and was satisfied with what filled my stomach. I ate no leavened bread and dressed no decorated striped clothes, and never did a man or a woman serve me, and I often used to press my belly against gravel because of hunger, and I used to ask a man to recite a Quranic verse to me although I knew it, so that he would take me to his home and feed me. And the most generous of all, the people to the poor, was Ja'far bin Abi Talib. He used to take us to his home and offer us what was available therein. He would even offer us an empty folded leather container of butter, which we would split and lick whatever was in it. Narrated Ash-Shabi. Whenever Ibn Amar greeted Ibn Ja'far, he used to say, As-salamu alayka, that is peace be on you, O son of Dhu al-Janakain, son of the two-winged person. Narrated Anas. Whenever there was drought, Amar bin al-Khattab used to ask Allah for rain through Al-Abbas bin Abdul Muttalib, saying, O Allah, we used to request our Prophet to ask you for rain, and you would give us. Now we request the uncle of our Prophet to ask you for rain, so give us rain. And they would be given rain. Narrated Aishah. Fatima sent somebody to Abu Bakr asking him to give her inheritance from the Prophet from what Allah had given to his apostle through fai, that is booty gained without fighting. She asked for the sadaqah, that is wealth assigned for charitable purposes, of the Prophet at Medina, and fadak, and what remained of the kumus, that is, 1/5, of the Kaaba booty. Abu Bakr said, Allah's apostle said, we, prophets, our property is not inherited, and whatever we leave is sadaqah, but Muhammad's family can eat from this property, that is Allah's property, but they have no right to take more than the food they need. By Allah, I will not bring any change in dealing with the sadaqah of the Prophet, and will keep them, as they used to be observed in his, that is the Prophet's, lifetime, and I will dispose with it as Allah's apostle used to do. Then Ali said, I testify that none has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and that Muhammad is his apostle, and added, O Abu Bakr, we acknowledge your superiority. Then he, that is Ali, mentioned their own relationship to Allah's apostle and their right. Abu Bakr then spoke saying, by Allah in whose hands my life is, I love to do good to the relatives of Allah's apostle rather than to my own relatives. Abu Bakr added, look at Muhammad through his family, that is if you are no good to his family you are not good to him. Narrated Al-Miswar bin Makramah, Allah's apostle said, Fatima is a part of me, and he who makes her angry, makes me angry. Narrated Aishah, the Prophet called his daughter Fatima during his illness in which he died, and told her a secret whereupon she wept. Then he called her again and told her a secret whereupon she laughed. When I asked her about that, she replied, the Prophet spoke to me in secret and informed me that he would die in the course of the illness during which he died, so I wept. He again spoke to me in secret and informed me that I would be the first of his family to follow him, after his death, and on that I laughed. Narrated Marwan bin al-Hakam, Uthman bin Affan was afflicted with severe nose bleeding in the year when such illness was prevalent, and that prevented him from performing Hajj, and, because of it, he made his will. A man from Quraysh came to him and said, "Appoint your successor." Uthman asked, "Did the people name him?" "That is the successor," the man said. "Yes." Uthman asked, "Who is that?" The man remained silent. Another man came to Uthman, and I think it was Al-Harith. He also said, "Appoint your successor." Uthman asked, "Did the people name him?" The man replied, "Yes." Uthman said, "Who is that?" The man remained silent. Uthman said, "Perhaps they have mentioned Az-Zubair?" The man said, "Yes." Uthman said, "By him in whose hands my life is, he is the best of them as I know, and the dearest of them to Allah's apostle." Narrated Marwan bin al-Hakam, "While I was with Uthman, a man came to him and said, 'Appoint your successor.' Uthman said, 'Has such successor been named?' He replied, 'Yes, Az-Zubair.' Uthman said, 'Thrice, by Allah. Indeed you know that he is the best of you.'" Narrated Jabir, "The Prophet said, 'Every prophet used to have a Hawari, that is disciple, and my Hawari is Az-Zubair bin al-Am.'" Narrated Abdullah bin Az-Zubair, "During the battle of Al-Ahzab, I and Ammar bin Abi Salama were kept behind with the women. Behold, I saw, my father, Az-Zubair riding his horse, going to and coming from Bani Qurayza twice or thrice. So when I came back I said, 'O my father, I saw you going to and coming from Bani Qurayza.' He said, 'Did you really see me, O my son?' I said, 'Yes.' He said, 'Allah's apostle said, who'll go to Bani Qurayza and bring me their news?' So I went, and when I came back, Allah's apostle mentioned for me both his parents, saying, 'Let my father and mother be sacrificed for you.'" Narrated Awah, "On the day of the battle of Al-Yarmouk, the companions of the Prophet said to Az-Zubair, 'Will you attack the enemy vigorously so that we may attack them along with you?' So Az-Zubair attacked them, and they inflicted 2 wounds over his shoulder, and in between these 2 wounds there was an old scar he had received on the day of the Battle of Badr. When I was a child, I used to insert my fingers into those scars in play." Narrated Ammar, "Before the Prophet died, he was pleased with him, Talha bin Ubaydullah." Narrated Abu Uthman, "During one of the Ghazawat in which Allah's apostle was fighting, none remained with the Prophet but Talha and Sa'd." Narrated Qais bin Abi Hazim, "I saw Talha's paralyzed hand with which he had protected the Prophet from an arrow." Narrated Sa'd, "On the day of the Battle of Uhud the Prophet mentioned for me both high." Narrated Sa'd, "No doubt, for some time, I stood for 1/3 of the Muslims." Narrated Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas, "No man embraced Islam before the day on which I embraced Islam, and no doubt, I remained for 7 days as 1/3 of the then extant Muslims." Narrated Qais, "I heard Sa'd saying, I was the first amongst the Arabs who shot an arrow for Allah's cause. We used to fight along with the prophets, while we had nothing to eat except the leaves of trees, so that one's excrete would look like the excrete balls of camel or a sheep, containing nothing to mix them together. Today Banu Asad tribe blame me for not having understood Islam. I would be a loser if my deeds were in vain." Those people complained about Sa'd to Ammar, claiming that he did not offer his prayers perfectly. Narrated about the sons-in-law of the Prophet, and one of them is Abu Alas bin Arabi. Narrated Al-Miswar bin Makramah, Ali demanded the hand of the daughter of Abu Jahl. Fatima heard of this and went to Allah's apostle saying, "Your people think that you do not become angry for the sake of your daughters, as Ali is now going to marry the daughter of Abu Jahl." On that Allah's apostle got up, and after his recitation of Tashahhud, I heard him saying, "Then after, I married one of my daughters to Abu Alas bin al-Rabi, the husband of Zainab, the daughter of the Prophet, before Islam, and he proved truthful in whatever he said to me. No doubt, Fatima is a part of me. I hate to see her being troubled. By Allah, the daughter of Allah's apostle and the daughter of Allah's enemy cannot be the wives of one man." So Ali gave up that engagement. Al-Miswar further said, "I heard the Prophet talking, and he mentioned a son-in-law of his belonging to the tribe of Bani Abd Shams. He highly praised him concerning that relationship and said, whenever he spoke to me, he spoke the truth, and whenever he promised me, he fulfilled his promise. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar, the Prophet sent an army under the command of Usama bin Zayd. When some people criticized his leadership, the Prophet said, if you are criticizing Usama's leadership, you used to criticize his father's leadership before. By Allah, he was worthy of leadership and was one of the dearest persons to me, and now, this, that is Usama, is one of the dearest to me after him, that is Zayd. Narrated Aishah said, a caliph, that is one skilled in recognizing the lineage of a person through physiognomy and through examining the body parts of an infant, came to me while the Prophet was present, and Usama bin Zayd and Zayd bin Haritha were lying asleep. The caliph said, these feet, of Usama and his father, are of persons belonging to the same lineage. The Prophet was pleased with that saying which won his admiration, and he told Aishah of it. Narrated Aishah, the people of the Quraysh tribe were worried about the Makhzumiyah woman. They said, nobody dare speak to him, that is the Prophet, except Usama bin Zayd, as he is the most beloved to Allah's apostle. Aishah said, a woman from Bani Makhzumiyah committed a theft, and the people said, who can intercede with the Prophet for her? So nobody dared speak to him, that is the Prophet, but Usama bin Zayd spoke to him. The Prophet said, if a reputable man amongst the children of Bani Israel committed a theft, they used to forgive him, but if a poor man committed a theft, they would cut his hand. But I would cut even the hand of Fatima, that is the daughter of the Prophet, if she committed a theft. Narrated Abdullah bin Dinar, one day Ibn Umar, while in the mosque, looked at a man who was dragging his clothes while walking in one of the corners of the mosque. He said, see who is that? I wish he was near to me. Somebody then said, to Ibn Umar, don't you know him, O Abu Abdurrahman? He is Muhammad bin Usama. On that Ibn Umar bowed his head and dug the earth with his hands and then said, if Allah's apostle saw him, he would have loved him. Narrated Usama bin Zayd, that the Prophet used to take him, that is Usama, and Ali Husayn, in his lap, and say, O Allah, love them, as I love them. The freed slave of Usama bin Zayd said, Al-Hajjaj bin Ayman bin Ayman, and Ayman ibn Ayman was Usama's brother from the maternal side, and he was one of the Ansar. He was seen by Ibn Umar not performing his bowing and prostrations in a perfect manner. So Ibn Umar told him to repeat his prayer. Harmala, the freed slave of Usama bin Zayd, said that while he was in the company of Abdullah bin Umar, Al-Hajjaj bin Ayman came in and, while praying, he did not perform his bowing and prostrations properly. So Ibn Umar told him to repeat his prayer. When he went away, Ibn Umar asked me, who is he? I said, Al-Hajjaj bin Ayman. Ibn Umar said, if Allah's apostle saw him, he would have loved him. Then Ibn Umar mentioned the love of the Prophet for the children of Ayman. Sulayman said that Ayman was one of the nurses of the Prophet. The merits of Abdullah bin Umar bin al-Khattab. Narrated Ibn Umar, if a man saw a dream during the lifetime of the Prophet, he would narrate it to the Prophet. Once I wished to see a dream and narrate it to the Prophet. I was young, unmarried, and used to sleep in the mosque during the lifetime of the Prophet. I dreamt that two angels took me and went away with me towards the hell fire, which looked like a well with the inside walls built up, and had two side walls like those of a well. There I saw some people in it whom I knew. I started saying, I seek refuge with Allah from their hell fire. I seek refuge with Allah from their hell fire. Then another angel met the other two and said to me, do not be afraid. I narrated my dream to Hafsa, who, in her turn, narrated it to the Prophet. He said, what an excellent man Abdullah is if he only observes the night prayer. Salem, a sub-narrator, said, Abdullah used not to sleep at night but very little henceforward. Narrated Ibn Umar from Hafsa his sister, that the Prophet had said to her, Abdullah is a pious man. Narrated Al-Qama, I went to Sham and offered a 2-rakat prayer and then said, O Allah, bless me with a good pious companion. So I went to some people and sat with them. An old man came and sat by my side. I asked, who is he? They replied, He is Abu ad-Darda. I said to him, I prayed to Allah to bless me with a pious companion and he sent you to me. He asked me, from where are you? I replied, from the people of Al-Kufa. He said, isn't there amongst you Ibn Umabd, the one who used to carry the shoes, the cushion or pillow, and the water for ablution? Is there amongst you the one whom Allah gave refuge from Satan through the request of his Prophet? Is there amongst you the one who keeps the secrets of the Prophet which nobody knows except him? Abu Darda further asked, how does Abdullah bin Mas'ud recite the surah starting with, by the night as it conceals the light? 92.1 Then I recited before him, by the night as it envelops, and by the day as it appears in brightness, and by male and female. 91.13 On this Abu ad-Darda said, by Allah, the Prophet made me recite the surah in this way while I was listening to him, reciting it. Narrated Ibrahim, Al-Qama went to Sham and when he entered the mosque, he said, O Allah, bless me with a pious companion. So he sat with Abu ad-Darda. Abu ad-Darda asked him, where are you from? Al-Qama replied, from the people of Kufa. Abu ad narrated Anas bin Malik, Allah's apostle said, every nation has an extremely trustworthy man, and the trustworthy man of this, that is Muslim, nation is Abu Ubaidah bin al-Jarrah. Narrated Hudayfa, the Prophet said to the people of Najran, I will send you the most trustworthy man. Every one of the companions of the Prophet was looking forward to be that person. He then sent Abu Ubaidah. Narrated Abu Bakr, I heard the Prophet talking at the pulpit while Al-Husayn was sitting beside him, and he, that is the Prophet, was once looking at the people and at another time Al-Husayn, and saying, this son of mine is a Sayyid, that is chief, and perhaps Allah will bring about an agreement between two sects of the Muslims through him. Narrated Usama bin Zayd, that the Prophet used to take him and Al-Husayn, and used to say, O Allah, I love them, so please love them, or said something similar. Narrated Muhammad, Anas bin Malik said, the head of Al-Husayn was brought to Ubaydullah bin Zayd and was put in a tray, and then Ibn Zayd started playing with a stick at the nose and mouth of Al-Husayn's head and saying something about his handsome features. Anas then said to him, Al-Husayn resembled the Prophet more than the others did. Anas added, that is Al-Husayn's, hair was dyed with wasma, that is a kind of plant used as a dye. Narrated Al-Bara, I saw the Prophet carrying Al-Husayn on his shoulder and saying, O Allah, I love him, so please love him. Narrated Uqba bin al-Harith, I saw Abu Bakr carrying Al-Husayn and saying, let my father be sacrificed for you, you resemble the Prophet and not Ali, while Ali was laughing at this. Narrated Ibn Umar, Abu Bakr used to say, please Muhammad, that is the Prophet, by doing good to his family. Narrated Anas, none resembled the Prophet more than Al-Husayn bin Ali did. Narrated Ibn Abi Num, a person asked Abdullah bin Umar whether a Muslim could kill flies. I heard him saying, in reply, the people of Iraq are asking about the killing of flies while they themselves murdered the son of the daughter of Allah's apostle. The Prophet said, they, that is Hassan and Hussein, are my two sweet basils in this world. Narrated the merits of Bilal bin Rabah, the freed slave of Abu Bakr. The Prophet said to Bilal, I heard the sound of your shoes in paradise just in front of me. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah, Ammar used to say, Abu Bakr is our chief, and he manumitted our chief, meaning Bilal. Narrated Qais, Bilal said to Abu Bakr, if you have bought me for yourself then keep me for yourself. But if you have bought me for Allah's sake, then leave me for Allah's work. Narrated Ibn Abbas, once the Prophet embraced me, pressed me to his chest, and said, O Allah, teach him wisdom, that is the understanding of the knowledge of Quran. Narrated Abdul Warith, the same but said, O Allah, teach him, Ibn Abbas, the book, that is the understanding of the knowledge of Quran. Narrated Khalid, as above. Narrated Anas, the Prophet had informed the people about the death of Zayd, Jafar and Ibn Rawaha before the news of their death reached them. He said with his eyes flowing with tears, Zayd took the flag and was martyred, then Jafar took the flag and was martyred, and then Ibn Rawaha took the flag and was martyred. Finally the flag was taken by one of Allah's swords, that is Khalid bin al-Walid, and Allah gave them, that is the Muslims, victory. Narrated Masruq, Abdullah bin Mas'ud, was mentioned before Abdullah bin Amr. The latter said, that is a man I continued to love because I heard Allah's apostle saying, learn the recitation of the Quran from any of these 4 persons, Abdullah bin Mas'ud, Salim the freed slave of Abu Hudayfa, Ubay bin Ka'b, and Mu'ad bin Jabal. I do not remember whether he mentioned Ubay first or Mu'ad. Narrated Abdullah bin Amr, Allah's apostle neither talked in an insulting manner nor did he ever speak evil intentionally. He used to say, the most beloved to me amongst you is the one who has the best character and manners. He added, learn the Quran from any of these 4 persons. Abdullah bin Mas'ud, Salim the freed slave of Abu Hudayfa, Ubay bin Ka'b, and Mu'ad bin Jabal. Narrated Al-Qama, I went to Sham and was offering a 2-rakat prayer. I said, O Allah, bless me with a pious companion. Then I saw an old man coming towards me, and when he came near I said to myself, I hope Allah has given me my request. The man asked me, where are you from? I replied, I am from the people of Kufa. He said, weren't there amongst you the carrier of the Prophet's shoes, siwak and the ablution water container? Weren't there amongst you the man who was given Allah's refuge from the Satan? And weren't there amongst you the man who used to keep their Prophet's secrets which nobody else knew? How did Ibn Amabd, that is Abdullah bin Mas'ud, used to recite Surat al-Layl, the night 92? I recited by the night as it envelops, by the day as it appears in brightness, and by male and female. 92.13. On that, Abu Darda said, by Allah, the Prophet made me read the verse in this way after listening to him. But these people of Sham tried their best to let me say something different. Narrated Abdurrahman bin Yazid, we asked Hudayfa to tell us of a person resembling, to some extent, the Prophet in good appearance and straightforward behavior so that we may learn from him good manners and acceptable conduct. Hudayfa replied, I do not know anybody resembling the Prophet, to some extent, in appearance and conduct more than Ibn Amabd. Narrated Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, my brother and I came from Yemen, and for some time we continued to consider Abdullah bin Mas'ud as one of the members of the family of the Prophet because we used to see him and his mother going in the house of the Prophet very often. Narrated Ibn Abi Mulaika, Mu'awiyah offered 1 rak'ah witr prayer after the Aishah prayer, and at that time a freed slave of Ibn Abbas was present. He, that is the slave, went to Ibn Abbas, and told him that Mu'awiyah offered 1 rak'ah witr prayer. Ibn Abbas said, leave him, for he was in the company of Allah's apostle. Narrated Ibn Abi Mulaika, somebody said to Ibn Abbas, can you speak to the chief of the believers Mu'awiyah, as he does not pray except 1 rak'ah as witr? Ibn Abbas replied, he is a faqih, that is a learned man who can give religious verdicts. Narrated Humran bin Abbas, Mu'awiyah said, to the people, you offer a prayer which we, who are the companions of the Prophet, never saw the Prophet offering, and he forbade its offering, that is the 2 rakat after the compulsory Asr prayer. Narrated Al-Miswar bin Makramah, Allah's apostle said, Fatima is a part of me, and whoever makes her angry, makes me angry. Narrated Abu Salama, Aishah said, once Allah's apostle said to me, O Aishah, this is Gabriel greeting you. I said, peace and Allah's mercy and blessings be on him. You see what I don't see. She was addressing Allah's apostle. Narrated Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, Allah's apostle said, many amongst men attained perfection, but amongst women none attained the perfection except Mary, the daughter of Imran, and Asiyah, the wife of Pharaoh. And the superiority of Aishah to other women is like the superiority of thurid, that is an Arabic dish, to other meals. Narrated Anas bin Malik, Allah's apostle said, the superiority of Aishah over other women is like the superiority of thurid to other meals. Narrated Al-Qasim bin Muhammad, once Aishah became sick and Ibn Abbas went to see her and said, O mother of the believers, you are leaving for truthful forerunners, that is for Allah's apostle and Abu Bakr. Narrated Abu Wa'il, When Ali sent Amr and al-Husayn to the people of Kufa to urge them to fight, Amr addressed them saying, I know that she, that is Aishah, is the wife of the Prophet in this world and in the hereafter, world to come, but Allah has put you to test, whether you will follow him, that is Allah, or her. Narrated Aishah, that she borrowed a necklace from Isma and it was lost. Allah's apostle sent some of his companions to look for it. During their journey the time of prayer was due and they prayed without ablution. When they returned to the Prophet they complained about it. So the divine verse of Tayammum was revealed. Usaid bin Hudayr said to Aishah, May Allah reward you handsomely. By Allah, whenever you have a difficulty, Allah took you out of it and brought with it a blessing for the Muslims. Narrated Hisham's father, when Allah's apostle was in his fatal illness, he started visiting his wives and saying, Where will I be tomorrow? He was anxious to be in Aishah's home. Aishah said, So when it was my day, the Prophet became silent, no longer asked the question. Narrated Hisham's father, the people used to send presents to the Prophet on the day of Aishah's turn. Aishah said, My companions, that is the other wives of the Prophet, gathered in the house of Salama, and said, 0 Salama. By Allah, the people choose to send presents on the day of Aishah's turn and we too, love the good, that is presents etc., as Aishah does. You should tell Allah's apostle to tell the people to send their presents to him wherever he may be, or wherever his turn may be. Salama said that to the Prophet and he turned away from her, and when the Prophet returned to her, that is Salama, she repeated the same, and the Prophet again turned away, and when she told him the same for the third time, the Prophet said, O Salama, don't trouble me by harming Aishah, for by Allah, the divine inspiration never came to me while I was under the blanket of any woman amongst you except her.